This is Money Motivation and Mike, and I'm your host, Michael Wainwright. In charge of the show is Jason Wright. And hello to you, world. This is the show that can and will change your life. All right, I'm going to go back here as I have over the last couple episodes talked about the government shutdown, and that's now behind us for a few months, a couple of months, as I've already expressed. But something that we overlooked, and it really didn't hit me until I realized that most, if not all, of your schoolhouses, your public schools, were open for business on Veterans Day. That made a crawl in me, Jason. We are such lip service society. Oh, thank the armed forces. Stand up and applaud them when somebody gets recognized at a ball game. Fly that flag at half mast. Okay? But this group of youth, and I'm just going to say high school seniors and below, 18 and below, who know nothing about war, go to school on Veterans Day like it's just another day. Except it's a national holiday. National holiday that anyone in a government job can't wait for so they can take the day off. The banks are closed. The post office is closed. And frankly, anyone else who can get away with not showing up for work that day, who may not even know what a veteran is, takes the day off. But we decide to send our youth, who should be understanding what the armed forces has done for this country, they go to school and do math and science and spelling and whatever else it is, and go right along with their extra after-school activities, such as the sports events and the band and all them other things. And not one thing, now this is of the school districts that I know of, not one thing is mentioned of Veterans Day, Jason. And it irks me. It irks me to no end. And to the point where in the 70s and 80s that I grew up in, we frankly looked down on veterans of Vietnam War and the ruckus that war caused. I mean, it was another one of those splits because there was a lot of protesting going on before mine and your time, especially there in those 60s. You know, and I was born towards the latter end of the Vietnam War. But I remember, and it's just like the wall there right outside of the Lincoln Memorial where the Vietnam vets are, who died in combat. I just don't feel that our society, and especially our school districts who are there to teach history, spend much time on Veterans Day. I don't know we spend any of it.
Right.
Because if you go to school, it's just another day. Now, this is just my belief. If you're out of school, the first thing that I always remember, and as I raised children, what they would say, oh, you don't have school on Monday. Next question, why? Why? I mean, Monday through Friday we go to school. Why do we not have school? Oh, it's President's Day. It's July. It's whatever it is. But we go to school on Veterans Day. Veterans Day, originally known as Armistice.
Yeah.
The reason I said that is because we've been discussing the exact pronunciation of the day up until 1954. And for those who have you been listening now, going on 4 years, everyone knows I'm not an English major. So President Eisenhower obviously passed this law for me back in 1954 to make it Veterans Day and make it much easier for some of us dummies to be able to pronounce. But it was known as, go ahead, Jason.
Armistice.
Armistice Day.
It doesn't just roll off the tongue.
Is it Peter Piper picked up one of them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It was a federal holiday in the United States observed annually, November the 11th, for honoring military veterans. and the armed forces. Now, as we talked about off air, it started with World War I, which formally ended. And I did not know this until I started getting in. Here's another deal. I'm 56 years old, about to be 57 years old. I did not know why we had a vet. I know it's about the armed forces. I know it's about the honoring our veterans, but I did not know that World War I come to a conclusion on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. And I would bet 90% of our listening audience and viewing audience did not know either. And that's why it is observed on November the 11th, no matter what day it falls on.
Yeah.
Now, also what's interesting is that, if a holiday falls on the weekend, usually you take off Monday. You have the option to take off Monday. But with Veterans Day, if it falls on Saturday, you're supposed to take off Friday. Falls on Sunday, you're supposed to take off Monday. But November the 11th is the day.
Mm-hmm.
11/11/11. 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month is why here we are 100 years later talking about Veterans Day and November 11th. And like we talked about, it was basically for World War I vets up until 1954, June 1st, 1954, when President Eisenhower signed House Bill 7786, changing the name to Veterans Day to honor all veterans. Now, legally, Jason, 2 minutes of silence is recommended to be observed at 2:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on November 11th. At 2:11 p.m., which would be 1:11 in the Central Time Zone where we are,
mm-hmm.
You're supposed to pause for 2 minutes.
Never heard this.
And observe I'm telling you, because it's got to be true. Observance at 2:11, which would be 1:11. And of course, hey, here's your really good one. 11:11 Western Standard Time. 11:11.
A lot easier for them to remember.
11:11 on the 11th day of the 11th month, you are supposed to go into 2 minutes of silence for Veterans Day. Now, I've never heard it either. How about that?
I like it.
Yes, sir. I like it too. But hey, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
How many schoolhouses on November the 11th, at whatever time zone they were in from East Coast to West Coast, stopped at that time and had 2 minutes of silence?
Public schools, probably zero.
Public, private, whatever.
Yeah.
Zero?
Maybe some military academies, but otherwise zero.
Hey, why don't we just go with 1/1000% so that we don't lump everybody into it?
Yeah, it can't be everybody, right?
It's got to be somebody out there had to have do it.
Yeah.
There had to be some veteran that was the principal of that particular school or the superintendent of that particular school district that knows what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. I would say nowadays. Now, it is possible 30, 40 years ago, maybe some of them did, but that was prior to my time.
I'm going to say in the late 1950s, General Eisenhower, President Eisenhower, was making it happen.
But you're right.
But obviously it didn't stick. Yeah, there's just some good tidbits for November the 11th, 2026, for all of us to observe. Now, get this. Election Day is a regular working day, correct? Polls are open from 7 to 7. And we expect all voters to find a way to get to the polls.
Yeah.
All right? Okay. The National Commission of Federal Election Reform calls for holidays to be merged. The holiday of Veterans Day and Election Day. So you can take the day off to go vote. Now, it's never been passed because we know the Tuesday in November is when that election is going to be, no matter what day that is. But they want the National Commission for Federal Election Reform wants the 2 days to be combined,
mm-hmm.
so you can get the day off, and then you can go vote. We don't even have our schools out. How do you expect us to go and tell people not to go to work that day? ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the idea.
Yeah, me too. I think for Election Day, everybody should be allowed to go vote. Be off, go vote. Take care of your business.
Well, the National Commission agrees as well. National Commission on Federal Election Reform, I should say. They state that this is a way to honor voting by expressing democratic rights for what the veterans of foreign wars have defended for us for the last 100 years. Your right to vote.
Yeah.
And once again, we say we love them and we protect them and we want them and they have protected our borders forever and we don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
That's just not all of us. And obviously we're trying to bring some of that attention out right now. Okay. So just a little bit more tidbit here. And the United States Congress adopted a resolution on June 4th, 1926, requesting that President Calvin Coolidge, I bet you didn't know Calvin Coolidge was in office in 1926, did you?
I didn't know the year, but I do know him.
Well, I know him too, but I didn't know if he was in 1926 or 1826.
Yeah, I don't have a memory for that.
Yeah, we get asked about Harry Truman. I'm about done.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I
understand.
And how many of us can't go back to 1948?
Yeah.
You know, and you know who the first president was, and you know what Lincoln did, and maybe a couple others, but
some notable ones. There's a handful of people may know, but a lot of people won't even know that.
But that's right. And unfortunately, I saw a poll, and I know I'm getting off subject here, which we kind of quite do on money motivation, and Mike. No one knew who the president was before Ronald Reagan. Not no one. 75% of the people did not know who the president was before Ronald Reagan.
I believe
it. That's sad. It's sad. Okay, so by the way, you know, we talked about that date, but June 4th, 1926, Calvin Coolidge issued an annual proclamation calling for the observance on November the 11th with the appropriate ceremonies. Now, the Congressional Act, he adopted this resolution, but the Congress did not adopt it till May 13th, 1938, to make it a legal holiday.
Okay.
It took them 12 years. And we think we're going to get this federal government resolved in the next 75 days.
Right.
So apparently these guys and gals up there in Congress, and I'm going to bet in 1926 there wasn't any women in Congress. I bet that was 535 men.
Yeah.
Who all needed to shave and get a haircut.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Then they go on to say the day is dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be thereafter celebrated, known as
Armistice Day.
Armistice Day. Yeah. For all you English majors out there. And then, of course, in 1954, it was changed. Now, do you believe I am making too big of a deal out of Veterans Day? You personally?
No. I think they played a big part in our history and the greatness of this country.
And they have sacrificed a lot.
Yeah.
They have done a lot of stuff that I don't want to do. You know, I don't want to dig ditches, but I would.
Yeah.
I don't want to go and get into the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and now Coast Guard, but I would. You know, because, you know, you got to remember, as I am born in 1968, there was still a draft. And did you have to go sign up? Did you have to go register when you graduated?
I did.
Okay. I didn't know because in 1987, when I registered, you had to go, or when I graduated, you had to go register.
Yeah. Register for the draft.
And I knew 13 years later, I didn't know if you had to do that or not.
I did.
Do they still do it now?
I don't think so. At least I have not heard about it.
Yes.
Maybe you just automatically enrolled nowadays.
Yeah. Interesting.
Maybe you file Social Security, you file your IRS stuff, they ought to just take that and put it in the bucket.
Well, as John Candy once said in Stripes, he went ahead and joined before they drafted him in.
When I have him, might as well pick a spot versus letting them pick it for me.
So once again, the Congress needs to hear from you, taxpaying citizens, that a bigger deal needs to be made out of Veterans Day. It needs to. So while you are addressing your representatives when you see them, and I'm telling you, we need to start burning up the wavelengths to get a hold of these folks. Don't let them pass by anymore. No more free passes. Veterans Day, filibuster, getting a budget passed. And I'm going to go back on this one last time. Well, for 2025, because I know we're going to be discussing again in 2026. What do you think the electricity company would do, Jason, if you called them up today and that you called them up and you told them, my wife and I can't decide what bills to pay first and how to spend our money. So we're just going to shut down our finances for 43 days. The electricity better not go off. And I'll get back to you when she and I could get on the same page and we'll get all this straightened out. They would laugh, hang up, and cut it off.
Yeah.
But the federal government gets away with it. It's a bunch of bull. As always, contact me. info@mx3.vip. Find all the content at mx3.vip on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MX3 Podcast. As we, Jason, approach 250,000 subscribers. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon when you go there to get notified of all the new content, which Jason puts out every Monday and Thursday morning around 9 o'clock. Always go down and make comments in the comments section. And we certainly would appreciate that. So once again, find out. You already know who your local representatives are. Let's start at the federal government level. Find out how to contact them and start contacting them. Whatever you want to say, you need to say it, express, not only at the polls, but since they've been elected, express what you feel now. So for everyone who's been a part of this show of Money, Motivation, and Mike, continue to live your life the right way.